Hey guys, I just want to share something with you guys, and I'll do it as quickly as I possibly can. There's a video that's been picking up a lot of steam, it seems like, on YouTube, and it's called Setting America Up for the Passover Ritual. And as you can see, just real briefly, I'll show you. If you just do a search in YouTube, the search bar, you'll see Setting America Up, and there's this guy named Richie from Boston. That's the guy with the hat on there, and this guy James True, and they are discussing something called a Passover ritual. And this is Richie from Boston's channel. This is a channel called Alex Hammer, and this is not Richie from Boston's channel, but again, he's got Richie from Boston and Alex True on there with the Setting America Up for the Passover Ritual. See? Right there in the title. And here again, Setting America Up for Passover Ritual. And this is Gabby the cat. And Passover, no, that's not it. Here's Setting America Up for Passover Ritual. Again, Richie from Boston and James True. And you know, again, here's another one, Setting America Up for Passover Ritual, and this is Truth Seeker channel, Anonymous Bread, once again, Setting America Up for the Passover Ritual. And you know, it goes down the line there. So again, like I say, it's picking up steam. A lot of people have uploaded this video. Now, this guy, James True, I'm just going to play a little bit of this, but this gentleman here on the bottom, James True, has come up with what he has spent 2 years, and you'll hear him say this right away here. He has spent, this is a tail end of a 2-year dig, so this guy spent 2 years putting all this information together. So I'm going to play a little bit of it for you, but I highly recommend go to YouTube, do a quick search for Setting America Up for Passover Ritual, and Richie from Boston is the guy who is hosting James True. And here's a little bit of that video. For those of you new to my work, you're really catching this at the tail end of about a 2-year-long decode. This starts with Mossad. This starts all the way through, you know, going back to 9/11, all of them being ritual ceremonies. Real quick, the ritual of 9/11, the two towers is a tuning fork. It's a resonance tuning fork, and by striking that tuning fork, it is sitting inside the checkerboard, which is Manhattan Island. The checkerboard streets are the Masonic checkerboard, and the Twin Towers themselves are a hollow metallic tuning fork, and they go right into the ground, 6-7 stories into the ground. That's a spell of resonance, and by resonating trauma into the island, because New York's an epicenter because so many people come from so many places to New York. That's a very similar to like a freaking nerve point, you know, on your ear or whatever, where if someone was to vibrate something, you'd feel it through your whole body. That's why they picked New York. 9/11 was the first ritual, and 19 years later, this year, will be the 19th anniversary of 9/11. And you have COVID-19, you have the 19th card in Tarot, which is the sun card, or the corona. This is all about symbolism. There were 19 box cutters that took down fucking 3 buildings, the Pentagon, 4 planes, and the entire military with 19 box cutters. It's 19.
And it made an airplane completely disappear.
Exactly. It's a very crucial. The number itself is very crucial. Now, when you understand the 2 towers, it's Jachin and Boaz. This is a Masonic look at these towers. And what it literally is a trance spell. You guys have heard of the Hegelian dialectic, and really that's the archetype of that is in these 2 towers. But the reason why it's a trance spell is because you were stuck between pillars of mercy and justice. And what happens to the victim's mind is it gets lost in a trance state of hope. Hope is a very, very important part of this ritual. Hope is very much like the innocence of a lamb. Right. Basically, when a lamb is sacrificed, if the lamb trusts the shepherd, there's no adrenalized fear going through that. Instead, it's turned into this synthetic hope in a juice. Your blood is cooked in that hope. This is why Q-Anon was promising all these amazing things coming. You have to build up the victim's hope. They have to make them believe in the purity of government.
What we're looking at right now is a literal apocalypse, which is an uncovering. That's all it means. You're uncovering the truth of what government is. It's a predator, a predatory machine. As each of us wake up from this ritual, it's ruining their black magic spell because they're no longer able to harvest as much hope from us. That's why they painted the apocalypse as a destructive act, even though the word itself means an uncovering, an opening up act.
So in case you guys are not really following along with what he's saying, he's speaking in terms of, he's describing because this battle that we're in, and Trump refers to them as an invisible enemy and this and that, he's not so much really talking about the virus as he is, let me put it to you this way, there's a spiritual battle that is taking place, and the things that we are seeing are physical manifestations of a spiritual battle, and that's kind of what he's talking about here with the Hegelian dialectic and the hope being something that, because these people practice black magic, you know, it's a matter of a spiritual battle, God against Satan. And so you have to understand that Satan, the fallen angels, these are entities that practice dark arts, black magic, and they have, I mean, they engage with human beings. People do. They contact these demonic spirits, these demonic entities, with Ouija boards, with these crystal balls, with, I mean, there's all kind of things that people do to delve into those mystical, black, dark types of magic. And so what he's talking about is the hope, the practices of these people, and some of the rituals that they practice is what he's talking about. So I highly recommend, once again, that you go over to this channel and you check out this conversation with this guy Richie, because you know what I'm telling you right now, you know, is just a very brief summary of something that this man, you know, as he said, spent 2 years decoding. So and when people talk about decoding, coding, and decoding, they do talk in codes. I mean, you know, President Trump, everybody in these high places, these politicians in the high places, and, you know, these people at the World Health Organization, and all of them, they do talk in code. They're sending messages that have another meaning than the surface meaning that they, you know, tweet out, or that they, statements they make in interviews and so on and so forth. They make the statement, and it if you take it at face value, you know, that it may make sense on a physical level and so on and so forth with what's going on today, but there's another message underneath, there's a subplot, and so you kind of have to decode those things, and it's very complicated. They use not just numerology, but also gematria, and they've got other methods that they use, but suffice it to say that this is what he's talking about, is the spiritual battle and the physical manifestations of it that we're seeing. And so he has an explanation of that is worth checking out. As I said, it is picking up steam. You'll see a lot of channels are picking up that that conversation with James True and Richie from Boston. Now, I wanted to show you guys this as well.
Last week.
Because you have to understand, in terms of the physical manifestation of this spiritual battle, it's what it comes down to is complete total control over the human population. And so we're seeing that play out, and that's Satan wanting to control, you know, this world. But Satan has people doing his bidding on this earth. You better believe that. And one of those people who is doing his bidding are these people at the WHO, the World Health Organization. Now, I want you to hear this, because a lot of you people think that, you know, by doing what these people say, in staying inside and keeping your social distancing, you're playing into the spell that these people are casting, because each time they have to have your permission, and each time that you conform to the orders that they give. Nobody hired the WHO, the World Health Organization. None of us, I mean, voted for them in the United States of America. We are the United States of America. We did not vote to give these people at the World Health Organization or the United Nations control over us. You know, in fact, that is contradictory to everything that we stand for as a nation. Our freedom is not dependent on what these World Health Organizations who were not elected by us, or this United Nations and this FEMA, these FEMA people. We didn't elect any of those people to make decisions or to govern over us, to lord over us, you might say. But here's what they're doing. Not only are they taking control of our lives, but they are about to take control in a way that you never thought possible. And they're using this virus thing to scare people into submission. And so this is why I say, get out of your home. Don't sit in your home. Get out, get some sunlight. Go somewhere and do something. Do not submit to the ritual, to the Passover ritual. Do not submit to it. Let the government know. Let everyone know. Do the contrary of what they're telling you to do. Do the opposite, to let them know that you do not consent to be sacrificed as part of this Passover ritual. And if you go check out what James True was talking about, you'll understand more what I'm talking about when I talk about you being sacrificed. You need to go check out that video, the Passover ritual. See, the 9/11, he hinted at what's going on. The 9/11 was a ritual as well, and those people were sacrificed to Baal. And so now this 19 years later, with the Mercy and the Comfort, I think it is, ships on either end of our harbors here. We've got one ship here and another ship over at the other end of the country. Those are two pillars that we are trapped inside once again. And so everything within those two pillars is offered up as a sacrifice. And so that's the nature of what he's talking about there. But their ultimate objective of total control over the American population, check out what they're talking about doing, these people at the World Health Organization.
Dr. Michael Ryan, he's a leader at the World Health Organization, announced that in response to the spread of this virus, authorities may have to enter people's homes and remove family members, presumably by force.
In most parts of the world, due to lockdown, most of the transmission that's actually happening in many countries now is happening in the household, at family level. In some senses, transmission has been taken off the streets and pushed back into family units. Now we need to go and look in families to find those people who may be sick and
this fat bastard, this fat coward, doesn't even have the guts to say we need to go look in the homes. He says we need to go look in the family. You notice how he paused and hesitated before he said this shit, because it's so audacious to even say some crap like this. We need to go look inside the family. What he means is they need to come into your home. With or without your permission, they need to come inside your home, determine if anybody's sick,
remove them and isolate them in a safe and dignified manner.
You hear what he just said?
And remove them is to find those people who may be sick and remove them and isolate them in a safe and dignified manner.
One more time.
Has been taken off the streets and pushed back into family units. Now we need to go and look in families to find those people who may be sick and remove them and isolate them in a safe and dignified manner.
So they're going to come and look inside your home to see who's sick, and who's to say if they're sick or not. You're not a doctor, you can't tell. And remove. They're coming after ladies, single mothers. They want to come into your home and remove your children. If you have elderly parents, this and that, they want to come inside your home, remove your parents. The elderly, the young, especially susceptible to this. Because, well, I'm not going to go into the reason why. But just know this. They want to come into your home and remove people in a dignified manner, is what this guy at the World Health Organization is suggesting. So you let that sink in for a while and decide whether or not you want to submit to it. I myself will never submit to this. And this guy's just talking about coming into your homes to take people out. But now we've got the National Guard who are apparently already doing this.
It's pretty serious when you know the National Guard, the Texas National Guard, that they're heading out to neighborhoods in the Dallas area. You know, Dallas is also a stay-at-home city. That was the order that was issued. The Dallas County Judge, Clay Jenkins, says he's sending out the Texas National Guard on a medical mission. And so what that means is they're going door to see who may have come in contact with a coronavirus patient. The judge stressed this is the guards will not be there for law enforcement reason. So really, guys, it's just a way for the National Guard to go to you so that you don't have to go out to your doctor's office or overwhelm the hospital emergency rooms.
The problem I'm having with this is, since when are National Guards, do they have enough National Guards to go door to door? I mean, National Guards are not doctors, they are military. So when she says that they're not there for law enforcement, why else would they be coming to your home, folks? I mean, the National Guard, these are military, paramilitary, kind of government at a state level. I guess the National Guard, each state has National Guards, but they're kind of a military governmental agency or branch thereof, and so they're coming to your home. And the point is, they're not sending doctors to your home for these, medical reasons. They're sending military to your homes to look in and see who's sick. But yet they're not doctors. They don't know who's sick, but they're going to take it and they're going to extract people out of there. So, folks, look, it's not just theory anymore. They're actually doing it. They're going door to door to people's homes. Nothing in our Constitution gives them the right to come looking in your home by force and extracting you in a dignified manner. This clown over here, he's talking about we need to go look inside the home, but he don't mean he, because if this fat bastard, I see him coming up the walk, I'll break his kneecaps. But I mean, they're not sending this fat bastard. He's not coming to your home. They're going to send the military, just like she said. The National Guards are going to your homes, and they're doing it now. So we need to wake up on that and be aware of what's going on. And whereas we need to be awake to where we're at in terms of the loss of our freedoms. Okay, because we just gave up a big one right there. I don't know if you guys know it, but Donald Trump recently gave full power over to FEMA, to handle this faux epidemic. It's not even a real crisis. It's all manufactured. This is why you see all the video clips of all these empty hospitals. This is just some bogus, fraudulent crap that they have perpetrated on the world in order to get the world to submit and give up more and more of their rights and more of their freedoms. And we've been convinced to surrender the most precious freedom that we have, and that is freedom, to be, privacy within our homes, freedom to come and go as we please, freedom to freely assemble. Even Facebook has taken away our freedom to even speak, and YouTube to even speak as we wish. So, all that just to say that, we need to really wake up and pay attention to, what we're giving up, because we're giving away all of our freedoms, and they're not even forcing them from us. We're giving them away. Man, I'll tell you what, we need to really be careful with that. Now, some people, and this is just, here, let me just...
A little bit yesterday, and this is in regards to the United States as far as the Constitution, a republic, a constitutional republic. Are we a constitutional republic? Is President Trump actually in power? And of course, unfortunately, what a lot of people are not wanting to hear is that the answer is no. We are going into a one world government.
Now that is the truth. We are going into a one world government. And this gentleman just stated pretty clearly, and he's not alone. This gentleman right here is not alone in his belief that President Trump is no longer in power. A lot of people have noticed that when President Trump speaks now, the presidential seal is no longer on the podium that he speaks from, which, honestly, that does concern me, and it should concern you, because that's a major change. He's given all authority to FEMA. He no longer has the presidential seal on the podium that he speaks from when he talks about this thing. These are troubling changes that we need to all sit up and take note of. Now, I know there are different groups of people, like, for example, the Anons, which I give them a lot of credit for being patriotic, for being, for being, relentless when it comes to researching, various topics. When it comes to researching things, going down rabbit holes, digging up, information, the Anons are really, really adept at that. And so, but they are believing that right now we are locked down in our homes because Trump and the Patriots are rescuing all these children from these underground trafficking places that they're held, and there's supposed to be all these, children. But I'm not seeing, look, as resourceful as Anons are, if that were true, we would be seeing a lot more pictures of these children in, if they're got 2 ships on either side of the country and all the hospitals are empty because they're waiting on these children, they're still empty. There's no Anon has come forward with any evidence that would show, here's a video of the troops rescuing, because if this was going on that massive of a scale, Anons would have dug that crap up, and they would have been sharing it everywhere. Americans everywhere would be seeing footage, because they can't keep nothing like that's too big for no one to get a glimpse of it going on. I mean, they got glimpses of this supposed Black Hawk helicopters landing in Los Angeles, going in hazmat suits and coming out, and somebody captured that on video. This thing's much more massive than that one tiny operation, and no one has video, no one has a picture. That strikes me as strange. That leads me to believe that the whole rescue of the children is a crock. And that's just my opinion. If you have a different opinion, I'm open to hear it respectfully. I'm not talking, I don't think I'm speaking to anyone in a disrespectful tone or manner. And I'd appreciate it if you leave a comment, save the sarcasm and the disrespectful tone and manner of speaking to me as well. And let's respect each other in all this, because we are the ones who are being played. So we really need to be sticking together. Now, I just want to show you, and this is just on a side note, because I just think it's interesting human behavior, and I want to share this with you, because this shows the sheeple side of people.
The gentleman in the elevator now is a candid star. These folks who are entering, the man with a white shirt, the lady with a trench coat, and subsequently one other member of our staff, will face the rear. And you'll see how this man in the trench coat tries to maintain his individuality, but little by little, he looks at his watch, but he's really making an excuse for turning just a little bit more to the wall. Now we'll try it once again.
One more time.
Here's the candid subject.
And I think
Here
this
comes
is more
the candid
common
camera staff,
of
3 of them
the
at least. And this man has apparently been in groups before.
I think this is more typical of the sheeple. This guy. I think the second guy is a lot more typical of the sheeple. It doesn't take a lot of persuading people to follow along with the crowd. It just really doesn't take much persuading. And it doesn't take much, when you use fear, and right now is a horrible thing for America and for the world, because, these people, these demonic entities who want to enslave essentially the world, they're seeing how easily people can be manipulated using fear. Fear, I want to also point out something. I was just talking about the Anons and how resourceful they are, but even among them, they are starting to, it seems like they're beginning to commit the cardinal Anon sin and question the plan, because they don't like it when you do that. Here's someone named Sweet Lee, Conservative Truth Network. Now, I highly recommend that you get on over to her channel and check out some of her videos, because she does real good work. Although she's not part of that core We Are the News Now media group, who are kind of like the just a reverse side of the same coin when you talk about the mainstream media and this new media. There is kind of this core group or clique, and they invite each other in to talk to each other in these video, broadcasts where, one of these Patriot News channels will invite another one, and they'll have a video thing where they come together and all this thing. It's kind of like like they say, a new media. It's like General Flynn was talking about. We have a army of digital soldiers, and this is what he's talking about. Are these and you know who they are. I'm not going to name off who the channels are, but I think one of them, and this is a kind of a fringe person here. She's not really in that core group I was talking about, because they never invite her in to talk about anything, but yet she's got 24,000 subscribers, but she's never invited in by or mentioned by that core group of, We Are the News Now people. But she is a patriot. She's a true patriot, and I think more so because she's not in that core group. I think that core group was manufactured by people who are manufacturing this whole Q movement. I think that they are part of and were assigned to do these things by whoever's organizing all of this Q movement. That's just my suspicion. I think that they were put there in place on purpose. And that kind of worries me a little bit too, because when there's a source who is anonymous putting in a group of people to spread information and cover one side of an issue or a different side of an issue than the mainstream media or whatever, I'm just wondering, can we trust this source? I mean, is this, worthy of our trust? We come to find out we've trusted the mainstream media for years and years and years and years. Come to find out we can't trust them. Now we got the new media, We're the News Now media people coming in, and can we trust them? I mean, how's this different? I understand they're wrong about from my perspective, rescuing the children. I just don't see evidence of it, and I would like to see that, because I do want to believe that this Q movement is real, and that Trump is, liberating us and liberating these, captives of this underground sex slavery deal. This is what the Anons believe is going on. So, but some of them are losing heart and seem to be becoming a little disenchanted with this movement. Now, I'm going to play a little bit of this one, Conservative Truth Network, to illustrate my point.
Gates could not have planned a crisis any better than the coronavirus panic
Bill Gates.
to push his vaccination and depopulation agendas. So there you have it, Patriots. We always knew that this day would come. It even says so in the Bible. But yes, they were trying to push it this whole time for this purpose. For this purpose only. But thank God, our POTUS flipped it. He turned it around against them. And there's going to be mass arrests taking place while we are safely in our homes. I just wanted to do this short news report really quick to get this out to my patriots. It's very important, and I know that this was something, including myself, that we were very, very worried about. Because let me just tell you something. Like, I would not do this. I'm not going to lose my place in heaven. I'm not going to sit there and get a mark of the beast. I'm not going to do that. And they're not going to put and insert anything inside me. Although, for all of us, there's already things that they've inserted inside of us since the day we were born.
I don't have to get.
But I draw a line to this. But the only thing that this was, the hook that they were going to put into us was, you don't have to have it implanted in your skin, but then you can't buy things, you can't sell things, you cannot,
mark of the beast,
get into your bank account, and basically they would make it so that we could not be able to do anything. We can't get a job, we can't work, we can't get a paycheck, we can't do anything without this chip. So sure, it might not have been mandatory to get the chip, but for those of us who didn't get it, our lives would basically
be over.
Come to a screeching halt. It would be like if we were being blacklisted. So I am so relieved and so happy that our Attorney General, William Barr, under the direction of our POTUS and his amazing administration, has put the brakes on this. The only thing, however, that concerns me was what our...
And this is what I'm talking about. The only thing that... So she does have a concern. See, this is... the reason why I picked this particular video and this particular channel is because it is a good channel, and this woman is a true, I mean, hardcore patriot. She loves the country, she loves God, and she loves this president. But even she has a concern here with something that Bill Barr said, and I'll play that for you here now.
Attorney General said... from the article I just read, when he said that he did feel like, quote, appropriate, reasonable steps are fine. This leaves the door open for some sort of government action in order to enforce vaccine compliance.
Right.
So that's the only thing that that's really doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Kind of like it's a loose end that hasn't been tied off.
Right.
That makes me feel uncomfortable.
Exactly. Exactly.
What does he mean by appropriate, reasonable steps are fine? What does he mean by that?
Right. And she's right.
I'm hoping that he means that, you know, for those who really do have the coronavirus, that they do get the vaccine, the hydroxychloroquine vaccine.
But yet, that makes no sense because we know as patriots that there's no real virus that's killing people. It's not this whole virus thing is a hoax. It's a fraud. The hospitals are empty. Nobody's dying from this stuff. We know this. We've seen the empty hospitals. We're the ones with our eyes open. So this would make no sense, you know, given that. Now, she's not the only one, but she has expressed some doubts with with Bill Barr and with this whole thing here as well, setting us up for that ushering in of the mark of the beast and the New World Order. It seems like this administration is helping to usher in the New World Order and the ultimate tracking of human beings, the branding, if you will, of human beings. And there's another person who I highly respect this person, but I do once again want to encourage you to go over to this channel here and look at some of her videos. Her name is Sweet Lee. That's the handle she goes by, and her channel is Conservative Truth Network. She's got tons of good work over there. She takes off, breaks longer than, I'd like to see her, do more, put out more videos consistently, but she does good work, so get on over there and check her channel out. Now, this is one of the highest, in my opinion, this is one of the best channels on YouTube, is Amazing Polly. I didn't care much for her channel when I first found it, just because I don't know what it was. That day I watched one of her videos and it was alright, and so it was good enough for me to subscribe, but I kind of kept her as one of those channels where if nobody else had anything new out, and I'd say, okay, well, let's watch Amazing Polly's here, and so I did that, and then a couple videos later I was like, oh wow, that was good, and saw another video, and it blew me away because it was really in-depth coverage of the topic that she was on, and so I was very impressed with it. And then I found this video that she came out with here. Well, I didn't find it. I subscribed to Amazing Polly, and this video is called How Many Fingers Winston. It's not like a lot of her other videos, in as much as her other videos, usually she's going down rabbit holes, digging up information that makes connections to people that you never dreamed were connected, and she makes those connections by digging. She does research, and her videos usually are presentations based on this research that she's done, and she's sharing that with us. But this video is unique in that it is a commentary. There's no digging. I think this was just a very heartfelt, hard-hitting, heartfelt commentary that really just blew me away because it hit home so many times. I mean, and it hit hard. The the impact that she made, it was just hard hitting over and over and over all through this video. She's hitting on points that, just really are impactful, So I highly recommend. In fact, I made a list of my top 5 favorite videos on YouTube, and this one came in at number 4. I actually did a top 10 list, and so she made the top 5. At number 4, this video here, How Many Fingers Winston. I want you to listen to a little bit. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but once again, and this is the second time I've given props to Amazing Polly, because she went from one of those channels that I would watch when no one else had anything new to, I think, probably my favorite channel now, just because of the work that she does. And it was a shock to me. The work is so good. Her work is so good, so thorough, so in depth. And this commentary, shocked me because she also voiced something about this whole Q-Anon movement that, I had been wanting to say, but kind of afraid to say. And I'll show you why I say that after I share this clip from Amazing Polly's video with you.
I go out into the zombie world right now, the lockdown world, where everybody's standing silently on these strips of tape.
Yeah.
To get into stores, we're waiting in the cold, freezing wind. We barely talk to each other in the lineups. For God's sake, everybody's so scared of one another.
Pathetic.
And it's terrifying to say, like, I'm not afraid. I'm not...
Yeah.
They have made strong people weak. They have made unafraid people act like they're afraid. This has been the story of the last 20 years.
Shuddering cowards.
Go along with the lie.
Yeah.
Go along with the lie. We keep thinking, oh God, that scene in 1984, I mean, it's just about to get that bad. Where they torture Winston, the main character. They torture him. How many fingers am I holding up, Winston? And Winston wants to tell the truth. We all would. I mean, I say to you right now, how many fingers am I holding up? Audience. And you think to yourself, 4. But in the 1984 world, they want you to say some other number. They want you to say whatever number they want you to say, even though it's a lie. And this is a raping of your conscience. It seems high, it's so extreme, like we would never do that. But we've been doing it. I myself had to do it. Well, we all still have to do it. I still have to do it in certain situations all the time. I mean, first it was, you can't question.
There are certain people, and it's amazing that she says this, because there are certain people that I have to do it. I have to say there's 6 fingers, it's 4, but I have to say there's 5, around certain people. You have to go along with the lie. It's amazing that the way that she lays it out. It's very eloquent.
In the narrative of 9/11, I'm sure there were things before that. And you just couldn't, and you had to sit there at dinner tables with people talking about this, with the lies all embedded in the conversation, and you had to go along with it.
Right.
How many fingers am I holding up, Winston?
Right.
That's what the boot stomping on the face forever is. And our families do it to us. Our families will purposely troll us almost, just like the guy holding up his fingers. So they'll say to you in public with a new person at the dinner table or something like that, what do you think really happened on 9/11? They'll ask.
Right.
And they know. They know. They're holding up the fingers to you.
You, yeah.
They want to watch you lie.
Yeah.
They want to watch you choose between telling the truth and then getting beaten on for telling the truth.
Right.
Or they want to see you betray your own conscience in front of them.
Yep.
And they get off on it.
Yeah.
This is the exact same thing with trans. It's ma'am! they'll scream in your face,
and
and
you
you
have to call
have to
them
go
ma'am.
along with it.
Yep.
How many fingers am I holding up?
Winston.
Winston?
And they're even passing the trans thing, it's ma'am, they're even passing laws to make you go along with the lie. You know, it's incredible, but she's right on the money with all of that. It's amazing.
The Q people are doing this now too.
Did you hear that?
Trust the plan. Don't question POTUS. How many fingers am I holding up? Winston?
Because there's no kids being rescued.
And now, you know, I thought things were improving, but then the Wuhan virus came along, the China virus, coronavirus, COVID. They can't even keep a name for this thing. And all the people with the power are saying that this is probably going to last forever now. They'll just spring up a new strain, an outbreak of the COVID, just like in 1984, where they said, oh, we have to do this because we're at war again with East Asia or whatever the country's name is. And it's all lies. It's all lies. They just want the reaction out of the public. And that's why I'm quitting Twitter. Because
so she's going into something else.
I am
now.
Once again.
She's going into something else now, but you know, I think you get the point of what she's saying here with the how many fingers am I holding up, Winston? And the point that she's making about how, you know, even in this Anon movement, they're holding up the fingers too in a lot of cases. I mean, she's right. And look, don't take my word for it that I had this has been something that's been on my mind as well. Don't just take my word. I will share something with you here that let's see, where is it? Here we are. I was on Facebook and I noticed that there was a
I had no intention of recording
a group who, it's called Q-Anon. Let's see. It's called the official Q-Anon. And so one of these people in the group posted this, says, seems to me today a lot of people in this group today are doubting the plan. Why? And so I answered that question because nobody was really answering the question. So I wanted to answer it because people were, you know, they were saying frivolous things in the answers that nobody was really answering that question. So I went ahead and answered it. I said, I'm going to answer that question since most people are simply ignoring it or posting adolescent and just plain stupid ass childish comments that comments, and that kind of behavior from the patriots just leaves a bad taste in people's mouth about the whole Q movement. I mean, if people are going to attack people who simply ask questions or who simply may not know the truth, far too many people attack them and demean them and behave like attacking frickin' Antifa, like animals, vultures. Who would want to be a part of that? That is what most of these people in many cases are trying to frickin' escape. And many of you, with your harsh and demeaning way of dealing with frightened people, because people are frightened, they were frightened and they still are. It's appalling. Everyone in this group needs to think long and hard about how they treat the newcomer. I'm done. So that was something that I put out long before I saw how many fingers am I holding up, Winston. Now I made that video, but like she says, you're afraid to speak out. I was afraid to post that video about that. I mean, look, I saw that the way that they were attacking a couple of people who had asked questions, and these Anons were just attacking them viciously, man. And I was like, just like she said, don't question POTUS, and it's like some really nasty stuff. And I'm like, man, I don't really want to be a part of that. That's a pack of animals, just like the they're acting like a pack of animals, like the Antifa. It's the flip side of the same damn coin. And so that has kind of turned me off to that, and some other things I noticed too that, you're just not allowed to. But look, once again, I'm going to leave that whole, I think I made my point with that. But this video made my list of my top 10 list. It was actually made the top 5 list of greatest videos, my favorite all-time YouTube videos. This was one of them. I highly recommend that you go check out the video, just because for a commentary, rarely have I heard a commentary that was so impactful and hard-hitting on so many different levels. So get on over to Amazing Polly's channel, subscribe to that channel, because hopefully she doesn't quit. She was very disenchanted, let's say, in this video, and just hopefully she won't quit. Hopefully she will continue to seek the truth. And I'll tell you what, if anybody's capable of finding some truth nuggets, it's going to be this this Amazing Polly. So get on over there, subscribe, and like that video and share it. It's amazing stuff on her channel always. But again, you know, they show us the ship and then the empty beds, but I don't see patients on these beds. I mean, if there were really truly all of these children being rescued in the numbers that they're claiming, then we would be seeing videos and pictures of full beds with children. They couldn't hide that if they wanted to. And it's getting so bad right now with this whole virus thing. This is a church.
There's more police officer at King James Bible Baptist Church. Every police officer on duty came to this service tonight. Every police officer on duty came here, including the detectives.
This is a pastor at a church complaining that he had 20 police cars in his church. That is ridiculous. They want to come into your homes. They want to keep us from going to church. And I'm just asking, Mr. President, where in the hell are you during all of this? Where's the children? I'm not seeing anything that, you know, in my opinion, we should be seeing. I'm just not seeing anything. Here's the thing. If you don't believe that we are slaves and our freedom has been taken away.
Isn't an option.
What did he say?
It's a requirement. Home isn't an option. It's a requirement.
Staying at home isn't an option. It's a requirement. I just want to play that real briefly to you, just to demonstrate to you and let you know what your status is right now as an American citizen. This is no longer the home of the free.
We need to make sure that everybody continues to let us know where those folks are. If you've observed recurring violations of the Safer at Home order, please continue to let us know at coronavirus.lacity.org/business violation. You know the old expression about snitches? Well, in this case, snitches get rewards. We want to thank you.
So they're rewarding people for turning on their neighbors and telling on their neighbors. And it's working. This is in England, but...
To the NHS. My husband is not getting paid. I have to go in and do overtime all the time. I've got 2 kids in there.
And?
Don't stand near us then, innit?
And I have to...
Brave NHS nurse shouts at absolute idiots lounging around in the park during a lockdown. So these are the real people who are idiots are these people who are calling these young men doing what they want to do.
Go to work idiots. Every day.
This woman speaking is an idiot, and the person who labeled this video is a complete freaking moron who doesn't deserve freedom because they're too quick to give away their freedom. Here's another one too. I mean, this stuff is amazing. You can't make this stuff up. It's here's another one I want to share with you guys because it outrageous.
Your ass is grass. Do you understand? And if
I'm done with this shit.
So be looking out for those cops.
All right, I will. I'll be looking out for those cops.
Shelter in place. Go ahead. Put me on social media. You're a cop.
Wow.
Seriously, I called the cops.
Okay. Do y'all see this? Y'all see this woman?
Scared. I'm so scared.
This woman is unhinged. She's threatening. This are children. This woman is completely unhinged. First of all, she is she's actually criticizing. She's criticizing this young man.
All right, I will. I'll be looking at those cops.
Shelter in place. Go ahead. Put me on.
Look how close she is to him. She is coming out of her home to just tear into this kid. This is a kid. And this woman isn't even, this is a neighbor. Literally attacking this kid to chastise him about violating the shelter in place order. But as she's attacking him and chastising him about violating the shelter-in-place order, she's violating the social distancing order because she's right up in his face. So, I mean, it just shows you the lunacy and the lunatics that are out there so willing to tell on you. She said she called the cops. What do cops do? They take away people's freedoms. They lock them up in kennels like dogs. This woman is so unhinged. This woman is so stupid, so brainwashed, that she's willing to call the people who are responsible for taking away freedom and locking people up. She called those people on this kid for simply going out, getting in his car and drive. She don't know where. Look, it's none of her business where he's going. It's none of her business. And I just, it mystifies me that these people, something needs to be done about such people, because that's just ridiculous. Anyway, moving on. That's enough on that. There are people who are fighting back. Here's a rally that was held in Michigan. And this is encouraging to see the rallies, although, I think we waited too long. And these rallies...
Our community is struggling. My husband is on unemployment for the first time in our life.
Right.
And it's unwillingly that we're taking unemployment. We want to go back to work. We have employees. We have paychecks to issue.
See, and these are good patriotic citizens. But I disagree with how they're protesting. I think they should get out of their cars, violate the social distancing, and I don't think that the protest should be held at the Capitol. I think it should be held at the governor's house, with him inside, and his family inside. I think that 1 million people strong. Here's another one in Minnesota. Large group protests, stay-at-home orders outside governor's mansion. See, this is where they need to be
people
doing
protested
this.
Minnesota's stay-at-home order outside of the governor's residence in St. Paul today. President Trump tweeted his support for the group, writing in all caps, "Liberate Minnesota."
See, this one's a lot better.
Our Reg Chapman has more.
My personal opinion, I think they should have stormed the mansion and drug the governor out and to the street and had him face. Now, that's how they protest, and these are predominantly, white Americans, Caucasian Americans.
Some of Minnesota.
Now, this is how black people protest, and I have to be honest with you. Let's look at this for a second.
Look at him acting all precious shoes.
Now, these police are there to enforce social distancing in the projects.
Whole hood out, we ain't going like that. Niggas is not going like that. Niggas is not going like that.
Everybody.
Get your bitch ass out of here.
You see him elbow the guy? Now that, and I'm gonna tell you something, folks. This right here will go into one of my classic, most beloved video collection, because this is how the Caucasian community, the white folks, need to protest police who are trying to enforce social distancing. This is the way to run their ass up out of the hood. I couldn't have been more pleased to see how these people treated cops who were there to enforce where you stand and how close you stand to, because we have a right to freely assemble. That means you can stand as close as you want, and there's nothing in the Constitution that provides for a variation of that right or a limitation on your right based on some pandemic. It's not in there. They're violating our rights based on something that is not legitimate. It's not legal for them to limit our rights, our freedoms under the United States Constitution. There's no legal provision that allows them to limit those rights for anything, pandemic or otherwise. And so this is the way we need to handle them, because in my opinion, the police, when there is no law. When the police start violating the highest law in the land, they are no longer law enforcement. They're just a bunch of thugs. They're just a bunch of thugs, and we need to run them the frick out of our neighborhoods. Look, if police want to enforce the law, they need to start with the highest law. If police want our respect, they need to respect us. They need to stop all of this trying to enforce thug rules. And they need to get back to enforcing the United States Constitution and all the laws that fall under it. And stop enforcing these tyrannical orders from governors. See, these are tyrannical orders from governors. They're not laws. These are not laws, people. And when you got cops enforcing tyrannical orders, that cop is no longer a police officer for the people. He is a traitor to the American people. He's a traitor to America is what he becomes. So we need to take a real strong look at how these cops are acting, who are willing to enforce tyrannical, dictatorial and tyrannical orders, because those are different from laws, people. They make up an excuse that there's a pandemic for we're going to enact and enforce this. No, you're not allowed to do that under the United States Constitution. You're not allowed. But yet, how do we give them permission? We comply. We go into our homes. We do the social distance. We stand on those lines Polly was talking about. How many fingers? Huh? You see what I'm saying? So we play along with these lies. Well, in this hood, they didn't play along with those lies, and God bless them for that. This guy put out a video, and I think this is interesting, and it may be a topic that I will focus on for next time. This RedVikingTrucker.com guy poses the question, Mr. President, where is your presidential seal and flag? Now, I haven't really noticed the flag missing, but I have noticed that since the president lately has been speaking with the World Health Organization, and so the podium no longer has the presidential seal. Now, that ties into what this gentleman was saying about people, many people not believing that President Trump is in charge of this country anymore, you see.
Constitutional republic is President Trump actually in power, and of course, unfortunately, what a lot of people are not wanting to hear is that the answer is no.
So I'm gonna leave it right there, because that's a topic for another video right there. But I do want to ask, what do you guys think? What do you think about the fact that there's no children? Where's the pictures? Where's the video of all these children that are supposed to be getting rescued while that was what I thought, according to this Anon movement, the reason why we're sheltering in place and going along with this, so that we don't get attacked in, these flaggy attacks, these FF attacks, and, so that we don't get, and so that they have time to rescue these. But I'm not seeing any evidence of that. And the missing, what do you guys think about that? Am I tripping, or should we be seeing something from these relentless, diggers, these relentless rabbit hole, people dive down these rabbit holes and they dig. These people are relentless at digging up information and coming up with videos. It's like, oh wow, how did they get that video? There's a drone over Epstein Island getting video footage, but we can't get one single clip of all these massive millions of children being rescued? Not a clip. I'm not buying that. Something we're not being told. It's something the Anons are not being told. And with the podium no longer having the presidential seal, what's up with that? It smells a lot like, while we are being lulled into trusting the plan, 5G's being ushered in on us. The authority's been given over to the FEMA, and the presidential seal is no longer, and no explanations for any of these things. No explanations for any of these things. This Q guy's always saying, trust yourself, or verify information. Well, I'd like answers to those things. And don't tell me trust the plan. Don't get nasty and snooty with me and shout trust the plan at me. And don't question POTUS. You know what? There's one that I won't question, and that's God. When it comes down to, and I'm gonna sum this up like this, and then I'm gonna shut up. when it comes down to me making a choice between God and the president or any other man, I'm going to roll with God each and every time. Every single time. And when it comes to man, and I'm not this ain't personal against our president. I hope that he turns out to be a good guy. But I'm seeing a lot of stuff that I'd like explanations for. So you guys tell me if I'm tripping or not, man. I think that if you have a question, you're entitled to ask that question. I think that, if you have concerns, you should be entitled to voice those concerns without being attacked by a pack of rabid dogs. People. So what do you guys think? Am I tripping, or does that sound reasonable? Let me know in the comment section. If you like the video, click like on it, share it, subscribe. Love you guys, and until the next time I talk to you guys, take care of yourself and take care of the people that you love.